success.
Would you say happiness is a measurement of success? Like if you're happy or content, you're successful.
No, because happiness is a fleeting emotion.
Yeah.
We actually spend a lot more time miserable than happy. Like I compared to like an EKG, you're flatlining and with moments of happiness.
Yeah.
Okay, so happiness is not a measure. However, fulfillment is. Fulfillment meaning you are satisfied, you feel good about how you're living your life, what your life is representative of. Like that is a measurement of success.
Would you say the biggest thing that doubt does is it makes you take no action?
I've done a lot of things where I doubted the outcome, right? Doubt is kind of like, man, I don't think it's gonna work, but fuck it, let's just go, let's do it, right? Because then you find out something. You find out about yourself. You find out about the situation. You learn. I always go in with, I'm learning something, so let's just go do it, right? But people freeze. They freeze with doubt. Either they overanalyze it or what if this doesn't work? But people don't look at it. What if it does work?
So I'm thinking when the person says enough, like would they mean like money, or is there
Like, is $1 billion enough?
yeah.
I've seen people when they say this, it's enough, instantly their life condition declines, their health declines, because they're no longer living for a purpose.
Bam.
Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the End to End Podcast, and I'm your host, Dr. Yun Nguyen, affectionately called Ninja by my friends. And as my listeners are also my friends, you can call me Ninja too. This is the End to End Podcast, the Alpha to the Omega, the beginning to the end, talking about life, motivation, drive, self-development, self-improvement, success, and offering you morsels in this all-you-can-eat buffet called life. I'm going to jump right into it. Two things I want to say. I start my podcast like I start my day with an expression of gratitude. So we have been growing our audiences by leaps and bounds over the last couple weeks. Thank you all for supporting this show. If you're new to the show, I do this on my own dime and on my own time. I spend a lot of money on this, a lot of time, a lot of investment. I don't have advertisers. So the only way we grow the show and spread our mission, which is to influence billions of lives across the planet in a positive way, is if you share the show. So I like to say, if your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. If you find value in this show or any other episode, please do share the show, like, follow, subscribe, and comment. I've been getting a lot of comments, a lot of DMs. Please keep them coming. Keep them coming. That way I can only provide better and more valuable content for my audience out there to share. Second thing, so if you're new to the show, I usually have 3 types of shows. So the main one is kind of like a 15, 20, 30-minute monologue of a topic or anything that is on my mind related to self-development, self-improvement, success, entrepreneurship, things like that. The second type of show is where I have a guest on the show, and we talk about their journey and their pathway of success. So hopefully you can apply their lessons to you. And then the third type of show is what I call prolific Q&A, where listeners send in a couple questions, and I try to answer them on the show based on my perspective, personal opinions, and how they can be applied to your pathway of success. This particular episode is a new special type of episode that I'm bringing to you all that I'm super, super excited about. It's going to be a good one, hopefully, but bear with us because it's the first time we're doing this. But this episode is a new thing we're starting, which is prolific Q&A, but prolific Q&A with a co-host. Co-host, my friend here, dear friend Arib Mirza. In fact, Arib is the one that records and produces this podcast. So it's taken him about 1.5 years of cajoling, convincing to go from that side of the camera actually to this side of the camera. But I thought it'd be interesting for him to come on board to do the prolific Q&A, shoot me the questions rather than me reading them off my phone. I don't know what these questions are ahead of time. So he's just going to randomly read off a couple questions, and I'm going to provide you some insight. And then obviously have a conversation about the answers and the topic. But before we get into the prolific Q&A, I just want to say this gentleman here, quite the story that you'll learn along the way. I found him actually through his social media. He ran some sponsored ads. I answered it. And this is just, if I'm not mistaken, bro, just when you were starting out independently.
Yeah. He, that time, correct.
Yeah, he comes from a very, very strong background of actually being a video producer in major television studios. So broke out on his own, started his own deal, came across him. We I don't know, when I reached out to you or something like that. He was running some deal like a couple $100 a month to do unlimited video recording. But what kept what kept the relationship, because I was like, let me try you out, see what happens. But at the beginning, this dude here, anything I'd ask, he'd be like, yeah, I got you. Let's go, meet me here to record. Okay, drop everything, meet me to record. And so when I saw that, I saw that kind of what we're talking about, fulfilling your controllable potential. He was controlling all of his potential, putting all of his effort into the work. And so it went from recording this podcast now to shooting reels and recording for all the businesses and projects that I'm working on. Legacy X, the crypto, Westloop Law, my law firm, Cure Connector, the healthcare technology platform I developed with my wife. All these things, he'll drop a hat. I'm coming to record. Granted, I'm paying him a lot of money to do it now versus when we started, but
all for good reasons.
All for good reasons. But he had that entrepreneurial drive, that drive to be successful, that drive to do whatever it takes. A lot of the things we're talking about on this podcast. So, and he also does his own reels about videography, photography, tricks and tips, and then also motivational things on how to grow a social media platform. So before we get into prolific Q&A, Arib, where can people find you on social? And, just kind of a little brief background about yourself, man.
Yeah, so for socials, Instagram at Arib Mirza. And
wait, spell that
Arib Mirza. Like, I have a graphic pop up. Or
okay.
For the listener, it's IAREEBMIRZA.
Yep.
Arib Mirza. And we're recording in my studio called Focus. And basically, Focus is marketing for business, local businesses. We come up with specific strategies for businesses on how to get leads and, just get their socials more strategized and more refined, because a lot of people just post random content. So that's kind of what we, in a brief sentence and explanation, is what we do.
Yeah. So very targeted. And just to be clear, that's Focus with a K, FOKUS. But that's what I like about Arib, because, I'll throw some ideas out there, but he'll focus me in on some strategies around how to get the message out. He's kind of intuitive now because we've been working together for almost a year and a half, but he kind of knows the way I do things and think and how I communicate. So he'll try to, guide me a little bit more on how I should focus on a message. So please check him out. Arib Mirza, the letter IAREEBMIRZA, and also at Focus, FOK.
Focus.vid, yep.
Okay, Focus Vid, VID.
Yep.
FOKUS VID. So with that, he comes from humble beginnings, but is on his way to be a successful entrepreneur. We're in his studio, and I've seen his business grow and launch, helping other clients and so on. He's well on his way to being a wild success. But he guaranteed me, regardless of how successful he is, he's not going to raise my rates, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, let's go. So prolific Q&A with my guy, video producer here for the podcast, Arib Mirza. Question 1.
Let's do it. So the first question I have is, and let's ask this one right away. How do I build and measure my own success? How do I know I'm successful, and when is it enough?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You want to repeat that, or you got it?
Repeat that one more time.
So the first part of let's answer it bit by bit. So
Okay.
The first part is, how do I build and measure my own success?
How do you build and measure your own success? That's a very good question, but also a very complicated one. I will start off by saying it's very, very important that you understand that everybody walks their own journey.
Yeah.
Okay. So comparative success is not the way to ultimately determine your own success. If you go to my original episode 1, the very, very first one, where it was just like I was an amateur hour, the content is actually pretty decent, pretty good, which is I define success as fulfilling your fullest controllable potential. Whatever your gifts and talents are, success, by my definition, is you've reached that fullest potential for whatever gift God or the universe has blessed you with. And you control all the elements, all the variables that you can control. A lot of things in our life are outside of our control, but you've done your best to control what you can control. So that's number 1. Number 2 is success is defined differently for everyone else, right? I will grant you that most people define success as money, but I'm not there yet. But money is just a measurement for, I call it a measurement.
I mean, you're kind of there,
for
man.
progress.
You're kind of there, man. You drive a McLaren.
I mean, I'm done okay, but compared to where I want to be and fulfilling my potential, like money is just a measurement of. I know. I'll give you an example. I know that if I'm able to just fulfill my fullest potential, like billionaire status, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I'm not even close.
Yeah.
I'm not even close.
Gotcha.
So
So you have high standards.
I have very high standards for myself because I know what my potential is.
Yeah.
Right. Or I don't know, but I know what it could potentially be.
Yeah.
So success is defined differently for everyone else. For some people, it could be, hey, I want to raise a strong family, and that's successful without a measurement of money. Or I want to help 1 million people, not starve.
Yeah.
And that, while it takes money, money is not the ultimate successful measure.
Yeah.
So it's a different measure. Now, although I will say success is not comparative, you must have a comparison to gauge where you are. Okay? And there's two comparative measures. One is whatever your path is, you find somebody further along that same path. Okay? So let's say, for example, I want to gauge my success as an attorney. Yeah, we do millions and millions and millions of dollars a year, but I know attorneys that are litigating billions of dollars.
Yes.
So I may be successful in my own definition, but comparatively speaking, there's more I can go after. Okay, so there is a comparative litmus test or something to compare to that gauges where you are. But even where you are, you can feel successful where you are. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The second comparative person that you can compare yourself to, not define your success, but compare yourself to, is who you think your future self is going to be. Imagine yourself, 1, 5, 10 years from now. Have that picture in your mind. If you want to measure it materialistically, I want a beach mansion. I want a lake house mansion. I want 5 exotic cars. I want a yacht. I see myself in that environment. Well, here I am. I don't have a few of those things yet. So then I'm, okay, am I not successful? Well, I am successful, here now. But I have a goal that I want to obtain, right? And so that is another measure of success. So it's a very, very complicated question, but the take home for me, for the audience, would be everybody has their own definition. Just because someone is a billionaire and you make $100,000 a year doesn't mean you're not successful. It's however you define it for yourself. There's no textbook definition of success.
Would you say happiness is a measurement of success? Like if you're happy or content, you're successful?
Okay, so no, because happiness is a fleeting emotion.
Yeah.
We actually spend a lot more time miserable than happy. Like I compare it to like an EKG. You're flatlining and with moments of happiness.
Yeah.
Okay, so happiness is not a measure. However, fulfillment is. Fulfillment meaning you are satisfied, you feel good about how you're living your life, what your life is representative of. Like that is a measurement of success. Because I know plenty of people with not a lot of money, but they do feel fulfilled. And that is a success.
Okay,
right?
so you would say happiness would be the byproduct of fulfillment.
No. Happiness is an emotional reaction to a circumstance.
No, what I'm saying, like if you chase a certain goal, like happiness just would be a byproduct you will feel.
No, you'll feel fulfilled.
Okay.
If you're chasing a goal, right? So happiness. So again, I don't know if it's absolutely clear, but to me, emotions are just blips on a dot, right? It can last a microsecond. It can last for 10 seconds, but you're not going to be happy for an hour straight.
Gotcha.
Right? But you can be fulfilled for a week. Like I feel good. I feel fulfilled. My purpose is aligned with my mission, my character. My family's doing well. I'm fulfilled. That's not happy. It's a different sensation. Happiness is like laughs and giggles, a dopamine burst,
Yeah.
adrenaline kick that
Gotcha.
wears away, right?
Okay.
So you can't measure success by happiness. You can measure success by fulfillment. Am I living my purpose,
Mhm.
how I define it? And for me, I try to always objectify things. So putting measurement on things, because that's the only way to know factually. So, for example, I'll be like, am I fulfilling my purpose today? If I only conducted myself on a 5 out of 10,
Mhm.
I'll be like, man, I got more work to do. But
Gotcha.
before I go to bed, am I like, did I fulfill my purpose today? And if I feel 10 to 10, I feel good.
Okay.
I feel successful for the day.
And do you think the people, this is me asking you, like, do you think people who chase happiness and just happiness end up doing the wrong things?
What do you mean?
Like people who
What
just
do you mean
chase,
doing your own things?
no, doing the wrong things.
Oh, doing the wrong things. Yeah. Yeah. Because you could argue that people find happiness in partying,
Yeah.
right? People find happiness in drugs. They think they're happy, but it makes them feel happy, so they chase it.
Temporary. Like you said, it's an
very,
emotion.
It's
Yeah.
a very temporary, fleeting thing. It's a bodily reaction to a circumstance that's a fleeting emotion.
Yeah.
But what happens after you party, like the next morning?
Yeah.
You feel miserable,
Mhm.
right? That's not that's not feeling fulfilled,
Yeah.
right? Now you can say I had a good time, I enjoyed my time, but it's not a fulfillment. True fulfillment is when you are completely aligned to your purpose. And as human beings, I think we all have a purpose that is aligned to all the gifts and talents that God or the universe has blessed you with. When you are lined up with that and doing the things and being disciplined and conducting your life in alignment with that purpose that is also tied in with your blessing or gift, that's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
That's fulfilled. Like there's a lot of times where, I do free work. It's called pro bono, where I'm helping somebody on a legal issue. The outcome is great. They're happy with the outcome. I made no money, but I feel very fulfilled. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that I would consider in many cases is a successful scenario for me. So I feel success about that, right? So people have this misnomer, gosh, if I have, a Lambo and I have this, that, and the other, I'll be successful.
Yeah.
I know a lot of miserable rich people. They're just not happy. So is that really success?
So they're not happy, but are they fulfilled? Like, what are
Well,
they
that's
missing?
the reason they're
Yeah.
not happy. They're not fulfilled.
Gotcha.
You got a ton of money.
Yeah.
You can buy anything you want, do anything you want, whatever. But they're not fulfilled with their purpose
Gotcha.
as a human. And so they're not happy. So a lot of money without fulfillment, is that successful? Now, it might be for you. I
Yeah.
might, hey, I could buy whatever I want. But here's the thing about money, too, is I forget what it's specifically called, but it's basically when you have all the options in the world, each one you pick becomes less satisfying.
Mhm.
Because you're able to, if I have unlimited money to buy 20 different exotic cars, I buy a Ferrari. Yeah, the moment I buy it, I might be happy. But then I also think about, man, what if I bought
Yeah,
the
you're
Lambo
thinking
instead?
about the other ones. Yeah.
Right? In fact, I had this conversation with a guy this weekend in the car group. Super nice guy, super nice family. He's like, man, I already bought a Lambo Aventador. What else can I buy that'll give me the same feeling? Like, to be honest with you, if I lose the car tomorrow, it wouldn't affect me.
Because you've already
experienced
it. Yeah.
Right? So your happiness declines, actually, the more options you're able to have.
Or would you say it goes back to normal? Like you're in a flat line and it just goes up temporarily and goes back down.
It spikes. The excitement spikes, and then it just goes back down.
Yeah.
And so if you're not fulfilled, your baseline is down here.
Yeah.
And then you're not, in my view, successful.
So would you say you need to be content with your baseline and then have more control over that?
You need to be fulfilled with your baseline and continue to grow your baseline.
Okay, that makes sense.
You grow your baseline, right? And that's alignment with your gifts and talents to a purpose.
Yeah.
And then you fulfill that purpose. So you win the day. You do the things, the discipline and all that. Yeah, people don't understand. Once you understand life is hard, it's easier to live a more fulfilling life.
Yeah.
Like de facto, life is hard. Once you accept that, life becomes easy. And people don't understand that. People are always trying to evade doing the hard things. well, how can I take the shortcut? How can I find the life hack? How can I? No, the life hack is doing the hard stuff
Yeah.
and understanding that life is hard. And once you understand that, then you're willing to do the things required to get closer to your purpose. Then you become more fulfilled. Then you're more successful
Mm-hmm.
because you're feeling positive all the time. And if you're positive all the time, feeling fulfilled, you know, it's like you're walking on air. Literally, you're walking on clouds, going through life, making shit happen, and then boom, your success. It's an energy. It's a vibe. Like that's a successful dude,
Nice.
right? It's not, bro. He drives a Ferrari, so he must be successful. Like, dude, trust me. Miserable people. There are rich, miserable people. A lot of rich, miserable people, because they're not in line with their life purpose. And so, and they lose that. So my recommendation for you in the audience is, as you climb the ladder of social success, buying the things you want, whatever, don't lose your purpose of life, right? The money and all the flashiness is a byproduct, but live to your purpose and you'll be successful.
Nice. So I guess that answers how do I know I'm successful and when is it enough? So I think that kind of just branches in that as well, right?
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, when is it enough? That's a very good question, because I had to struggle with that early. People kept asking me, when is it enough? Well, I forget what episode, where if you're an entrepreneur, it's helping other people, bringing value to other people. It's never enough, honestly, because if you're an entrepreneur, that's the main goal of being an entrepreneur, bringing value to other people.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the main drive, it's never enough, because you can always help more people.
Yeah.
Right? It's just you happen to get paid for helping other people. But the drive for you as an entrepreneur is not to make money. It's to provide value. So it's never enough, because the more people you provide value to, the more money you're going to make. So it continually grows.
Yeah.
Right? There's no end line. There's no finish line. You're going all the way of just helping people and living towards your life goal, your purpose.
So like, would you say like, so I'm thinking when the person says enough, like would they mean like money, or is there
I
such
think
thing as
most
enough
people is
money,
when
or-
is, yes, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, is $1 billion enough?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But here's the other thing, is that I've seen people, when they say this, it's enough, instantly their life condition declines. Their health declines, because they're no longer living for a purpose,
Yeah.
right? Oh,
That's
I've
true.
made it. I'm done. I don't need to work.
That's
I can
true.
just wake up at 10,
Yeah.
lay next to the pool,
Yeah.
have lunch.
You hear a lot of
You know,
retired people
They're
go into
miserable.
depression.
They're
or,
miserable
Yeah, they go into
because
miserable.
they're not aligned to any purpose.
Yeah.
So that's why I say, live to your purpose till the end, to your deathbed. You know, like I pushed it all the way that I could.
Yeah.
And
your
then
and your purpose could change. Like it doesn't need
purpose
to
can-
be
absolutely, your purpose can change along the path.
Yeah.
Like you could be more charitable, more, other things that don't require money. But the moment you say, I'm done, I'm good, it just happens. People decline.
Yeah.
You just carry a different life energy about yourself, where you start to deteriorate really quick.
Nice. So I like this question. It says, name a time in your life you had resilience over adversity.
Ooh. Resilience over adversity. Man, that's a personal one, dude. Really personal. I might be saving that one for my book.
Yeah.
Because I'll just generalize it without getting to specifics, because the question asks for very specific. But I am writing a book, so I don't want to give away the juiciness of it.
Yeah, just give the surface level.
The surface level is that your pathway to success will always, always, always have adversity in it. Failure, brink of failure, moments where you want to quit, definitely want to quit. There's been times where, like, literally when I first started, okay, this is a good moment that I could share on a personal experience. Coming out of law school, got several offers to work at certain law firms. And this is, in the early 2000s, like 2002.
Wow.
Several offers to make, with bonuses, 180, 200 grand. A lot of money for, how old was I? Probably early 30s.
Yeah, especially in the market as well.
After medical school, after all that. The .com bust, right? For you people a little bit older. Several opportunities to make, just clocking in 9 to 5, do my work, and get paid with bonus, 180, 200 grand. knowing what you know, would you be able to turn down 180, 200 grand a year in a corporate job?
Were you fresh out of school?
Fresh out of school.
And I'm in your scenario.
You're in my scenario.
I would not have turned it down.
Right. With a wife and a newborn.
Exactly. Like, especially, I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
not a newborn. No. Just a wife starting a family.
I mean, especially because you had loans as well at that time, I'm guessing.
I had some debt.
Yeah. No, I would take it.
Take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't.
You
Said
didn't
no.
take it.
Said no because I'm just too much of an entrepreneur. And one thing I can't handle, and whether it be a curse or not, is I hate office politics. Cannot deal with it because I just don't like the drama, man. It's so draining, energy wise. So I can't handle office politics. So I was like, decline the offer, set out on my own. Bro, I was down to my last $2,000.
Wow.
Okay, think about this.
Yeah.
Doctor, lawyer, basically broke.
Yeah.
Basically broke. Right? I had to get a title loan, not with the title loan company, but a title loan with my brother.
Wow.
You say, how much is the car worth? It was an older model Porsche. I was still driving a Porsche.
Still rocking in the Porsche.
Still rocking a Porsche. But had to get a title loan with my bro. He goes, how much the car's worth? I said, I don't know, man. I don't know. 20 grand? He goes, I'll give you half. Took a loan for 10. Right? Busted my ass at the law firm, scrambling, and clawed my way out to where I am now. Right? Most people would have sailed it in, would have been calling, hey man, remember that job I turned down? Is it still open? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And jump on that. But now I'm making more than I could ever make working for somebody else.
Yeah.
With more time and freedom, or freedom with my time. Like I've not missed a single basketball game with Nate.
Yeah.
In however many since the third
Yeah.
grade.
And I can confirm that.
That's like 8 years of basketball. I've not missed a game.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that with a 9-to-5 job, right? Working for somebody else.
Correct.
Right. So going back to the first question. I consider that a huge success, not missing a game.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with money. But when he's, 40 and I'm 80 years old,
Mm-hmm.
We can sit down and have that 35-year dinner and say, hey man, hey, we can hopefully have a great conversation about never having missed a game. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, that's how life works. So, but to the point, in any pathway of success, there's always going to be adversity. The thing is resiliency is not. It's not a situation where like, damn, I'm going through shitty times, but I'm gonna stick it through. It's not like that. It's you realize you're in a sticky spot and all you focus on is the next step. It's just the next step. What do I need to do next? Like, what's the next thing I need to do? And you knock that out and then, okay, what's the next? So it's not like I'm going to be resilient and fight this.
Yeah. Like, don't make stupid decisions.
Well, it's not. It's not just that. It's not. People have it like it's not a switch you flip. Like, I'm going to be resilient and battle this. It's you do make a decision. Hey, I'm going to get through this, but your focus is what is just the next step. It's like you're going on a hike with, a 100-pound backpack. You're not thinking about the next 20 miles. You're just thinking about that next step.
Yeah.
Let me just get here. Let me just get that one client. When I was building back, let me just get the next $100 somewhere. Oh, I got that. Okay, let me just get the next 100. Okay, now I got several $100 flowing. Let me get to the next $500.
So was there not a thought where like I can work here temporarily and then branch out, or was it kind of like once I'm here, I'm here?
No, because the hallmark of an entrepreneur is doing whatever it takes.
Okay.
It's just doing it whatever it takes, but it's focusing on that next step. And then in hindsight, looking back, you're like, damn, I was pretty resilient. And what that does is that builds you for the next level of adversity. Because as you grow, there's more shit you got to deal with.
Yeah.
Now I got employees, I got clients, I got regulators, I got shit I got to deal with. And it's it's just a bunch of shit. But it builds that toughness in your mind to know you've been able to do it before. Just focus on the next step. The resiliency is built around just what's next. What's the next smallest thing I can do? and keep building and keep building and keep building. The momentum and compound effect is huge, is massive. That little step you take now translates to so many other things down the road. You know, like I compare it to golf, and if you're not a golfer, you know, you're trying to make square contact with the ball, like a perpendicular contact with the ball on the golf club head, but half a millimeter off here translates to several yards, 10, 15, 20, 30 yards down the fairway.
Yeah.
Right? So every little step you take now translates to a whole bunch of effect down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So resiliency is, you know, just each little step at a time. That's what it is.
Okay, I like this question a lot too.
Okay.
How do you stay positive and overcome self-doubt?
Ooh, man, I thought we're just doing 2 questions, man.
No,
You're just reeling them off.
This one's good.
This
We got
okay.
time. Yeah.
Okay. How do you overcome self-doubt and stay positive? Okay. Anybody who says they don't have self-doubt is lying. Is lying. I think I saw a clip where Michael Jordan says, "Yeah, I get nervous before every game." Michael Jordan, the greatest of all time basketball player, in my opinion. I think I've seen a clip where Kobe Bryant says, "Man, I get nervous. I get anxiety before every game." Yeah. I think I saw Steph Curry even say, "Man, I get nervous and anxiety before every game." So that's based on self-doubt, right? So how do you get over that? How do you overcome that? Well, one, know that it's natural.
Mm-hmm.
It's a normal feeling. Butterflies in your stomach, sweaty palms. Dude, when I played lacrosse in college, there was a guy that had to throw up before every game. You know, he would gag himself. I got to get it out of my system. It happens. It happens because, like the 3 Ps: prepare, process, and perform. That performance part is where people get the self-doubt, anxiety, right? So that goes back to how do you prepare? How do you overcome that? Well, it's the 2 Ps before.
Make sure you're prepared.
You plan. If you plan, how well you plan helps you alleviate that self-doubt. And the process, the more reps you put in, the more practice you put in, right? The more confident you feel about it's just like sports. If I put up, you and I have a bet, $10,000 to make a 3-pointer.
Mm-hmm.
If before the bet goes down, I'm shooting, 10,000 3-pointers and you shoot 100.
Yeah.
Who's going to have more anxiety and self-doubt?
Me.
Of course. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to put in the reps. So for example, in my personal case, like if I'm going to trial, right? And I get nervous about what's called opening statement. That's where you present the case to a jury. Right? I'm practicing that thing like
crazy
at least 50 times. Using the right words, the right sentence, shaping it out. I'm driving to and back from work, recording myself on my phone, doing my opening statement, playing it back.
Especially as a lawyer, you can't do like
you can't just like jump out all of a sudden. Hey, this case is about like.
Yeah.
I mean, there might be some guys that could, but it's very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Even the guy, one of the most successful lawyers, settled over $21 billion in cases.
Wow.
He practices. So plan and the process. And when it comes time to perform, you have less self-doubt. Now, the second way to overcome that, I don't know, second or third way, is accept that you might fail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a probable outcome.
It's probable outcome. It's binary. You're either successful or you fail.
Mm-hmm.
But see, most people, when they fail, they think they've lost, they're done. No, failure is just an opportunity to learn. The ultimate failure is when you're dead. You can't do nothing about it.
Mm-hmm.
But in life, when you fail, you can always do something about it if you learn and adjust.
Yeah.
Right? If you fail and just accept failure and you can't do anything about it, then you've actually failed. Yes.
Yeah. Would you say the biggest thing that doubt does is it makes you take no action? Like you would rather take action than take no action. That's what doubt does.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Doubt is, listen, I've done a lot of things where I doubted the outcome. Right? Doubt is kind of like, man, I don't think it's going to work, but fuck it. Let's just go. Let's do it. Right? Because then you find out something. You find out about yourself. You find out about the situation.
Mhm.
You've learned. I always go in with I'm learning something, so let's just go do it. Right? But people freeze. They freeze with doubt. Either they overanalyze it, or what if this doesn't work?
Yeah.
That's the common doubt, right? Right? But people don't look at it. What if it does work?
What if it does work? Yeah.
What if it does work? How would your life be different if it does? See, people are always looking for downside. They're never looking at the upside.
Yeah.
And that's a thought. It's a training.
Yeah.
It's a thought process.
But it goes into the last question as well. I'm sure you had a lot of doubt when not taking that job, but you still did it.
I had a ton of doubt, bro.
Yeah.
Like, where's the next? How am I gonna pay the mortgage?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a ton of doubt, but it's just like, okay, what if I don't do this?
Mhm.
Right? What if I take the job, but I'm just miserable 9 to 5 dealing with office politics? Right? Like, what if I do that? And then that leads me to depression. I have money, I'm secure, but that leads me to depression. I'm unhappy. At that time, might get divorced, even though I got divorced. But it could spiral downwards, making it a rash decision out of doubt. Right? But doubt, there's a lot of questions around doubt, and doubt is natural.
Mhm.
Right? But for me, I almost ignore it. Like my own personal thing, I ignore my doubt. I'll hear it, but I ignore it. It's just like gossip. I'll hear it, but I don't pay any attention to it.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, as long as the downside is like I'm not killing anybody, or like it's not recoverable, like I can't recover from it, then I'll be like, man, I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but let's just go. Why not?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing in sports when I was coaching Nate's AAU basketball team. Like, there are teams we had no business playing against. Like absolutely no business. But we play anyways. Get our asses kicked, but then we learn from it. We get stronger from it. And so you have to understand that failure, adversity, all that stuff is part of the process, man. You have to fail actually to succeed. And people don't understand. You have to fail in order to succeed. Because why? You're learning what it takes to be successful through failure. Because if you did something, I've seen this happen, bro. Happened to me. Really talented academically, right? So I kind of coasted all the way to medical school. Then in medical school, it was the first time I really experienced failure. Like, I think on one exam I got like a 30, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Like, what happened? Like, I'm used to making 95s plus all the way up to medical school. I get an exam, I was like 30, and I didn't know how to handle failure.
Yeah.
Because I never had failed. Right? So people who rely on just gifts and talents and coast through life, they're actually the least equipped to be successful.
They'll always take the safe route.
Well, not necessarily the safe route, but they take it for granted that their talent is going to carry them all the way versus hard work.
Yeah.
Right? It took me getting a 30 on that exam to really understand what hard work is about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, damn, because I didn't work hard on the
It
exam.
makes you push harder. Yeah.
It made me understand I had to work rather than rely on my talent. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, if you rely on talent, then you don't have to learn anything. You're just relying on what you got. But it's talent married with work. Talent plus work is actually what makes people really successful. Like, really successful. Happens all the time in basketball. And I'm seeing this now. Plenty of guys, 6'6", 6'8", can jump out the rim, have always won every single game because they're just bigger, physically more talented. They get to a certain level and they lose to a smaller player who's just worked harder and figured it out and knew what type of work to put in. Better cardio, more condition, better skill, better basketball IQ versus the dude that just relied on his size to get him to a certain level. Believe me, like, natural talent's going to get you to a level, but it's the guy that works hard with average talent that actually gets to a higher level.
Yeah. Talent will give you a head start.
It'll give you a head start, but it won't get you
will,
across the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not. So, going back to the question, adversity and self-doubt and all that, it's just understand that it's natural.
Yeah.
It happens. But you just, there's multiple approaches: plan, prepare, plan, process, and perform. Get the reps in. Understand it's natural. Learn from it. Learn that failure is an outcome. or will be an outcome, and know that you got to learn from it and not stop when you fail. And then you just keep moving, just keep building, and resiliency and all that. It all intertwines. Like people think like, man, if I just focus on one thing, I'll be successful. It actually is not. It's just all these things mixed together in like a big gumbo soup, and that really tastes good at the end of the day. Like you got to work on all these things. So there's no like one size fit all road to success. It's it's all these things.
Nice. You want to do one more question?
I don't know, dude. I thought prolific Q&A is 2 questions. How much time we got? Okay.
We're on 30 at the moment.
Okay, let's go. One more question. We'll do it.
Question. Let's do it.
We got to get a better format, producer man.
I don't know if you want to talk about this one. We can cut it off now. Your stance on God, religion, and reality.
Whew. God, religion, and reality. My stance. Okay, I'll say this.
That's a good one.
It's personal. Your views on how the world and the universe works is personal to everyone. So this isn't especially what's going on in the Middle East now. It's, everybody has their own personal view, what's right for them. So this is not a judgment on any religion, any type of spirituality, even if you're an atheist.
Yeah, no, this is just your stance.
Yeah. So what I'm just saying, I'm qualifying this saying, this is not a knock on any other opposing view. I believe there is an essence about humans that should guide you to the right or positive things. And that essence or energy or call it whatever is God. It's the universe. I believe a higher power exists.
Yeah.
How we define it is individual to us. But there is an overwhelming, to me, evidence and sense that there's a different energy or life force that directs us or guides us. Okay. As I said 2 or 3 episodes ago, or last episode, this realm is actually the realm of the devil.
Yeah.
The earthly realm. Right. So when you have this essence or spirituality or energy of a God or the universe on an earthly realm that is built for the devil, in the Bible, in every religious context, what is the one thing that man or woman has? That's choice and own self-will. Okay. So a spiritual journey is based on who do you listen to? What is your energetic receiver guiding you towards? Is it towards the energy and essence of positivity and love and all that? Or is your energy receiver around being demonic? How do I harm people? How do I cheat people? How do I steal from people? The negative things.
Yeah.
That's up to you. Free will. It's free will. It's your own choice. Right? Remember, like I said before, God is up in heaven. That he governs that universe, that realm. This realm here is the 3-dimensional materialistic realm. So it's your own free will that you have a choice to make, how you conduct yourself. And it's not right or wrong. I'm not saying right. You do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But God would say, choose the higher, the positive route of morality.
And how do you define that though? Like religion?
I mean, you live around love, man.
Yeah.
Love. Like I really don't buy, and again, this is just a personal opinion. Might lose some followers, but that's all right. I'm true to myself. I don't buy into the idea that any religion that says if you don't follow mine, yours is wrong.
Yeah.
Or if you don't follow mine, I gotta go kill you.
Yeah.
God is about love. Right? So it could be, hey, you don't follow me, but I love you still. It's just your belief are different. That's it. We're good.
Yeah.
Now let's go have a good time. Right?
Yeah.
So I don't buy into the idea of a right religion or wrong religion or any religion that says mine is right and yours is wrong. That makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah. I mean, especially when it comes to I don't think religion is especially I know I can speak on Islam. Like they don't think that way. That
Yeah.
it's okay to just if someone's not a Muslim, it's okay to just bename them. But I will say that it's not okay to justify killing if they're not your same belief. Like how we're
Right.
seeing in like Israel and Gaza.
Right.
Like if we're beheading, let's say Israel babies, or if Israel is attacking Gaza back, they're justifying it because of different
Religion.
beliefs, religious
Exactly.
beliefs. So
Exactly.
like they justified using that. I don't think that's okay.
That's not good at all.
Yeah.
Well, when babies are dying and innocent people die, that's absolutely no good.
Yeah.
Regardless of what side you're on, or if you're taking a side. I'm not taking any sides.
Yeah.
I'm taking the side of humanity,
Hmm.
of love. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, that's just how I feel. So how do I feel about the universe? Um, there are emotions carry waves, right? I'll give you an example. You can, like, when you get angry, your heart beats faster.
Yeah.
You sweat, you're like tense. That's energy, right?
Mhm.
When you're loved, you also get excited, but you're more relaxed. There's like different wavelengths of energy. So everyone, I believe everybody is a tuning fork.
Okay.
Carry different hertz, notes, like, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, all that stuff. There are different wavelengths that resonate. And so you're a tuning fork that can channel into any wavelength you want. But that's your free will and your choice. Right? I will say frequencies of positive emotion are higher. Frequencies of lower emotion are lower, the actual hertz. And so how you tune your fork dictates how happy or fulfilling a life you have. Name me one fulfilled person that's miserable all the time.
Yeah.
It's incongruent.
Yeah.
You can't be fulfilled and miserable.
Mhm.
They're exact opposites. You see what I'm saying? And that's how the universe is built. Remember, even regardless of the Bible says, in whatever Genesis, God said, "Let there be light." Well, when you say something, what is the actual thing happening? Your vocal cords move, and it creates a wavelength of air.
Yeah.
So when it says God said, "Let there be light," He vibrated it out there, and then light came.
Mhm.
So that tells me the universe is all about waves and energy. And then he rested, and then he said, "Let there," whatever the next verse is. I'm not a biblical scholar, but he said, "Let there be light." That's a sound. That's a voice. That's a wave, a frequency, an energy.
Would you say there's consequences of the negative energy? Like, do you think something happens after they die, or something
What do you-
happens to them? Like, if somebody has a negative frequency,
Like a base. Yeah. So
Do they
go to your baseline, right?
Yeah.
Baseline. Your frequency is your baseline,
Mhm.
right? So what happens is, okay, let's use basic physics, right?
Yeah.
If you have a certain wavelength, and that wavelength encounters the opposite wavelength, what happens?
Like it stops.
Cancels each
Yeah,
other out.
stops.
Out, right? It becomes silent. Talk about sound.
Mhm.
Now, if you have a wavelength moving and it meets the same type of wavelength and it comes together, what happens?
Connects.
It connects and gets amplified,
Mhm.
right? So that's why I also believe in context that the universe always balances out, because people are always vibrating at different wavelengths.
So, like, is that example like if you're on a certain wavelength, you'll meet people who aren't on that certain wavelength? Okay.
That's exactly right.
Gotcha.
You'll vibrate. You walk into the room, and if you're really in tune and not distracted on your phone or whatever, you'll walk into a room and you'll sense a vibe about the room.
Mhm.
Man, it feels dead in here. Have you ever said that?
Yeah.
Right? Man, it feels hopping in here. That's the vibe. That's the energy collectively that we're all giving off.
Yeah. That's one thing I've noticed with, like successful entrepreneurs or people, high earning people, that they're always just like enter a room full of them and there's just energy is full.
The energy is positive.
They're never on their phone.
When you go to these masterminds of really successful entrepreneurs, when you walk in, it's always positive. It's always like everything's a possibility,
Mhm.
right? The worst thing. Like I'm a very anything is possible. We just got to figure it out kind of guy. The energy that cancels me out is if I meet somebody that's always the yes but.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know,
Yeah.
or like, nah, I don't think that'll work. Like
Yeah.
before you even research it, or nah, that's not gonna work, man.
Yeah.
I'll be like, okay, I gotta get away from that person.
There's no point. Like you,
No, there's no point in. I don't want to talk about argument. It's just the energy vibe.
Yeah, that's what I was
I
getting
just got to
to.
get away.
Yeah. You're just wasting your energy or
I'm
giving
well,
away
it's
his energy.
canceling out my energy,
Yeah.
my wavelength. Because if my wavelength is anything's possible, and I meet somebody's like finding ways to say no. Granted, it's good to understand factually no's, but if you say I don't think that'll work, without telling me why,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
without
saying,
telling-
then it's just a cancel, and I can't stand it.
Yeah.
But it is related to, you will resonate at a level that you will find an environment that resonates to the level of your frequency. That's the expression, misery loves company.
Yeah.
You're miserable, you're gonna find yourself around miserable people,
And that's very true.
right?
Yeah.
They're
that's very
not
true.
cliches for no reason.
Yeah. They just connect with each other because they understand each other. And just
And it's like,
the
oh,
same energy, same
my life
levels.
sucks. Oh man, my life sucks too,
then,
bro.
yeah.
Like what's going on? You know, misery loves company.
Yeah. And then you
Because
put
they
a
can just talk about
and
how
you,
sucky their life
you put a
is.
positive person in that circle, he's just gonna stoop down to the same level.
You're just gonna gravitate
Yeah.
down, or you maintain your level and try to pull people up, but that takes a lot of energy. That takes
Yeah.
a lot of energy. To
That'll
pull
take a
people
lot
up.
out of you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I answered the question, but
No, you did.
that might be worth a podcast separately on its own. But I go back to the world. This universe is all about energy. It's all about energy and waves. And so when you tap in and tie into the right ones, then you'll know. You'll just know. It's like going down a river. If you're going with the current, oh man, you feel like you don't even have to row, and you're going to the direction. But if you find yourself in turbulent water, or you're going cross current or upstream, that takes a lot of fucking work, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's easier to find that current, that wave that gets you to where you want to get your destination.
Gotcha. So you would say your stance on God, you correct me if I'm wrong, is that you still like looking things logically, but you still believe that there's a higher power doing all this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a higher power. Again, you go back to, why would God let there be war, or let all these negative things happen, people die innocently or whatever? And it's a balance. It's those people with that low level, low vibration, demonic kind of vibe. They got out of control. It's like the governments, right?
Yeah.
The people in charge, if they have ill intent, low vibration, they're just, it's nothing but war versus making peace and whatever. I'm sure it's more complicated than that, but in the end, it's how we vibrate. And so true to his, if you're old enough to remember Rodney King, like, can't we all just get along? Like, if we can all vibrate at the same high level of love and enlightenment and truth and trust,
There will be no wars.
there
right?
will be no wars. We'll all get along, which we all can. But we got to be willing. Again, it goes back to free will. We got to be willing to go that route individually. And the more people individually going that route, collectively, that's why prayer in groups feels powerful.
Yeah.
Because everybody is vibrating at the same frequency of prayer.
Would you say, I don't know if it's true, like the devil's job is to keep you at the low frequency?
Yeah, because then he wins.
Yeah.
He
Like
wins.
make sure you're
Well, the
not
greatest
reaching
trick
a
is
certain
the greatest
frequency.
trick the devil ever pulled is the expression. The greatest trick he ever pulled is convincing people he didn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. But the true nature of it all is pulling you to a low frequency.
Yeah. And the sooner you can discover the devil, then you understand that God exists. Because if there's, the equal and opposite force.
Well, it's equal and opposite force, but here, I'll give it. Okay, there's a. I don't want to reopen it, but there's an experiment. Japanese scientist, I forget his name. Forgot the experiment. He had cups of water, and it was as simple as putting a label on the water: love, trust, hate, anger. He just wrote the label on the water. And he would take a droplet and flash freeze the water. Flash freeze it. And look under the microscope. So the droplets from the cups that had positive and words, love, trust, hope. Those, when he flash froze it, the crystalline structures were gorgeous, like snowflakes, 6 sides, like the crystal structure.
Was there anything special with the water, or was it just like
There was
just
nothing.
words?
Everything all the same. The cups were stored all the same shelf, same temperature. Everything else looked the same.
Yeah.
Except there were words labeled on the cups. He would flash freeze the words with anger, hate, and flash freeze it. Like flash freeze, like drop it, freeze, look under the microscope. All those crystal structures were chaotic. No pattern. Just looked like a hot mess.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was just the words written on the jars. Now, y'all can look up the study. I don't know what the study is. Maybe if I find the link, I'll post it. But the second thing was regular water with no label. And he would just speak into the water. Love. Flash freeze. Hey, flash freeze. Same result. The crystal structures with positive words, beautiful. Look like snowflakes. The crystal structures with negative words, chaotic. No pattern, no distinguishable pattern, just chaos.
Interesting. So is that the frequency you're talking about?
That's frequency. Okay. It's frequency and waves, man. But also intent. People don't... God, man, we're getting really into the deep here. Thoughts are what? Thoughts are waves. Well, what do you mean? They're in my head. No. Biochemically, it's cells. Electrons, neutrons, protons, cellular synapses. Your brain works by sending electrical impulses throughout your body, right? And if it's an electrical impulse, it creates energy. It's a wave. So the intent or the wave of what the intent that you have in your mind actually emits energy, waves, like Wi-Fi. We don't see Wi-Fi, but it's a wave. It's an energy form that transmits data.
So if you're saying is if we think about negative stuff, that's what we're emitting outside.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's manifestation, actualization. If I'm thinking about these things, I'm gonna
attract it,
or either I'm gonna attract it or I'm gonna flow to it. It'll attract me. See, there's there's 2 schools of thought. There's already pre-existing waves that you match to, you vibrate towards.
Yeah.
And there are waves that you pull to you.
Yeah, and this happens. People don't realize it. Like, let's say
because you can't.
Yeah.
People think because you can't see it.
No,
it doesn't
like
exist.
in literal terms as well. So let's say I'm thinking about the Porsche Taycan all the time.
Yes.
I see it on the roads more often.
Yes.
Because I'm like emitting that, and I'm like noticing it more. Same thing with other stuff. If you're like thinking about, let's say, I don't know, like money all the time, for example.
Yes.
Thinking about ways to make it, stuff like that, it'll come to you.
It'll come to you. Yeah. It'll come to you. It'll come naturally. So if you're always thinking about how life sucks and oh, poor me, what are you gonna bring more of?
Poor yous.
Poor yous and sucky life. Yeah. Right? Yeah. But it's hard to, I understand, it's hard to make that mental shift when you don't see it. And that's where faith, resiliency, grit, that's why discipline is the easiest path to success. Yeah. Because you're not thinking about it, you're just doing it. Mm-hmm. And when you just do, you're stacking, you're building until you feel that you've accomplished something. Now your wavelength has changed.
Yeah.
I have accomplished something. Well, maybe if I do more, I'll accomplish more and more and more. That's the thing. Discipline is the ultimate freedom. If you're disciplined about it, just do it, just regardless of how you feel, how somebody else feels, whether it's raining outside, whether you're tired, you just do it.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to be successful.
Yeah, because you have complete control over your mind.
Complete control.
Yeah.
Complete control. And so you want to tap into the universe and God and love and all that every day. Do something positive. Do something positive. Positive about your life, positive for something. Just keep doing that. It's the fastest, easiest way out of any type of rut, negative situation. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And you'll get there.
Nice.
Like you get there.
Yeah, I think that's all the questions for now.
That was a lot of questions, man. That's like 6 wrapped into 3.
4.
I don't know. Anyway, glad to be back here. Glad y'all got to meet my guy, Arib Mirza. Focus, once again, it's at Arib, AREEBMIRZA.
Correct.
And then also at Focus with a K, FOKUS, vid, VID.
Dot vid, yeah.
Dot vid to find him. You're going to see more of him on these episodes, especially with prolific Q&A. Hopefully we'll limit it down to 2. But thank you all for watching. I'm going to end the podcast as I end my days with an expression of gratitude. Gratitude also will raise your vibration. That's like next to love, like gratitude, thankfulness. It'll raise it up there because you can't be grateful and angry at the same time.
Yeah,
It's gonna
That's
instantly
true.
take you out of any negative vibration.
yeah.
So
yeah,
I'm gonna end the podcast as I end my day. I thank God and the universe for another day lived, and I also want to thank you all for tuning in one more time to the End to End podcast. Please do. If your knowledge swole, share the show. That's how we grow. Share, like, follow, comment. Thank you for all the positivity, all the love, and looking forward to bringing you another episode very, very soon.